Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of MNW Firing Line. I am your host, Joe Mojo. Joined with me, as always, is my co-host, Faye Jinn. How's it going, Faye?
Howdy, everybody. I hope we've all had a very good week, and I hope we're looking forward to what we got this weekend, as well as in the upcoming weeks in the multiverse.
For sure, as we mentioned earlier, keep talking about the second round of Block B of the Burnout Vaughn Classic has reached its semifinals, and we will see who is going to be in there, as well as when we recap Warzone. It is the go home show before Ragnarok. So, very nice stuff coming up. But first, let's go on ahead and get into Flashbang, shall we? It's been an interesting set of it's been an interesting time in Friday Night Flashbang. Like we mentioned, the B block of the Burnout Vaughn Classic is underway, as well as Troll Train have their fifth win that they need to achieve, as well as more developments of the Ghost situation. Anyway, so let's get on ahead and get on into it, because the first match is a singles match scheduled for one fall, and it is the second, and we're going to kickstart the second round of Block B for the Burnout Vaughn Classic with the Beast Mom, Naja, and her opponent, the leader of Apex, a former World Heavyweight Champion, Nero Napier. And I'm going to say this, Naja has her work cut out for her in this matchup.
Oh, absolutely. Although Nero Napier is someone she is very, very familiar with, given both of their respective histories and the Nexus, the Forces of Nature, Naja herself, having gone up against members of Apex before. Although to actually get Nero one-on-one in a ring is already sort of a challenge in of itself, but he has recently returned, actually. He's 100% recovered.
100% recovered, especially when you kind of dangle the prize of his World Heavyweight title. A title that he believes that he was kind of screwed out of when Victor Vicious pinned him at last year's Halloween Breakdown, which is kind of ironic when you think about it, because
he actually used the same tactic to become a heavyweight champion in the first place, or at least that's what I hear on social media.
He did. He got Satiris Facilicus and La Priest Minotauros to help him beat Ginger Boy at Flashbang's first Multivania. And just Naja just working on the former champion. Naja has been chomping at the bits to get an opportunity like this. She has, across other promotions, she has won multiple world championships and a mixed tag championship. But here in MNW, it's kind of like she says, like it's like her luck was horrible, or there were certain cases where people would say that she couldn't get the job done. But I believe that it was mostly just as like a tempering steel kind of thing to kind of bring her to this moment.
Absolutely. I recall actually a few months actually into Victor Vicious's reign as World Heavyweight Champion. There was an 8-man, not a showcase, but it was a contender match, and both Naja and Mizuki Napier actually were present in said match. However, it was Mizuki Napier, of course, who ended up winning said match and went on to face Victor off one-on-one. So this isn't the first time we've seen Naja in the World Heavyweight title scene. She's had a few other contendership matches as well.
Nor is it her, like, it's like you mentioned, it's like you just mentioned, it's also not her first foray into going up against, a Napier. Mizuki and Nero both have very similar styles, whereas Nero's is more based on limb manipulation as well as, like, pretty much grinding his opponents down. Hell, even before the match with just, like, seething promos, but also kind of like setting people up for that coil, like you saw earlier. Mizuki, however, precision, brutality. She knows what she's there for. She's not there to humiliate you. She's just there to kill you. So, two totally different wavelengths, but still dangerous in their own right. Guy just slamming the Beast Mom's head down onto the mat. See, that's trying to show off that power game, that power advantage that he has over Naja. Naja can hold her own, but in terms of physical strength, Nero does kind of have her beat. Oh god, going in for that neck breaker, but just that cheap shot to the back of the head. Setting her up. On his shoulders. Oh, looks like he's trying to go for a Titan of Boa, but fakes her out. Another part of that mental manipulation game I was mentioning. He kind of lives to kind of mess with his opponents, and in a lot of cases, that does trigger a lot of people's anger, and that does kind of lead to their downfall. Ooh, and here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the coil wrapping up Naja, digging those spurs into the freaking abdomen of the Beast Mom, but the Beast Mom breaks right out of it. She's seen that move one too many times, and she knows how to get right out of it, especially after Mizuki having to deal with it for Mizuki's sake. Dragging Nero to the middle rope. Oh god, tying him up and just laying waste to his lower back. Oh god, the backstabber though. God, just trying to slow the pace down, trying to disorient the former champion. Although I will say, I actually the winner of this match is going to be going up against either Samuel Manatee or the Chocolate Zombie Graven. Who would you like? Out of either of those four, like who would you pit together, Faye?
Oh boy. Now see, out of them, currently, we do see that Graven Owl and the Chocolate Zombie has been vying for several title shots, and as well, he is very interested in his own words, sort of like finishing off all the people he hasn't beaten. He really wants to. He's like a completion sort of status. I want to see more from Samuel Manatee, however. I really want to see him like take the next leap in the title scene too.
Beast bomb from the Beast Mom, and that is a 3 count. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this match, moving on to the semifinal, is Naja. So close to what she thinks is rightfully hers. So close to the prize that has been eluding her since she joined back in the beginning of 2021. The Beast Mom advances, and she will face either the winner of Samuel Manatee and Graven, and we will be seeing the outcome of that later on in the night. But yeah, I mean, Faye, what'd you think of the match?
I am that was exceptionally tough right there for Naja, and I'm very, very happy for her. Nero, of course, being back in top shape. It isn't necessarily that like anything went wrong there, but Naja herself, I think she's finally starting to hit that stride and just becoming a massive threat to anyone in the title or contendership scene.
For sure, but we will see what is going on later on in the night. But first thing is first, though, speaking of Apex, Sir Reginald of the Princedom had a little bit of umbrage with the Doof in the previous week. The Doof, as as the audience has been calling him, the honorary alpha. And Reginald, well, he's got some words for Doof, and he requested a match. And here we have that match, ladies and gentlemen. Singles match scheduled for one fall. Sir Reginald with his partner, Sir Percival, coming down to the ring. And here we see the honorary alpha himself, the Doof, strutting on down towards the ring. And for the jokes that we keep making about the Doof, I kind of had to put this in there. That's why our budget's always so wonky. Do you know how much butane goes in that freaking, like, depiction of himself?
Oh yeah,
a lot.
Absolutely. And then just trying to make sure everything's safe between segments, because I mean, we can't have any fire hazards. I mean, we've already got Apollo Hades. Imagine if you were to walk in like a minute after all that gas and the butane is just up in the air. Everything actually would light on fire.
Oh God, for sure.
Hot for everyone's own good. He's too hot for everyone's own good.
Too hot
but
there.
That's Apollo, and this is the Doof. Oh yeah, I can kind of see in its own way. In its own way, I can kind of see why people are calling him the honorary alpha. It's not that he's stepping out of his comfort zone. It's just that he is very confident and kind of prideful in the sense that he believes he has what it takes to go up against them, and he's not going to let anybody stop him.
Well, like, I mean, his confidence to try to join Apex is admirable, but I don't know. I don't think Apex is going to appreciate somebody of the Doof's caliber to join their ranks, so to speak. I don't know, because at least in some way, shape, or form, every member of Apex is at least some form of, I guess you could say, brutality expert, where the Doof kind of has, how do I say this? The Doof puts on some very stellar matches, but he doesn't really have that killer instinct. Reginald putting him up into, ooh, God, that dropping that elbow right onto the Doof, going for that cover 2 and a kick out at 2. Reginald is besides himself.
You do raise a very good point, though, in that, Joe, because, I mean, you could say the Wilds don't know honor. That doesn't make sense. There is no honor out there in pack members challenging each other or anything that comes up against them. And as far as the Doof is concerned, he's got a lot of flair, he's got a lot of style and spirit, but it's very hard to come up against the viciousness that is Apex. Like, he would... Maybe that is, kind of an unintended part of what his goal is. Just kind of, either way, he is going to massively improve by going up against, what is essentially the strongest faction. You could argue in across the MNW is the largest faction as well.
I was gonna say I could definitely agree with that statement. Apex is definitely, I mean, they don't just have the numbers; they also kind of have the quality of, oh God, Dragon screw right into the freaking stairs there. But Apex also does have like that quality to them. Each member is pretty much a trained killer. I mean, you got two absolute monstrosities in Blight Hallis and Lapris Minotauros. Satiros Basilicus is nothing to sneeze at either. I mean, Nero and Mizuki Napier, the heads of their respective faction, they are brutal in their own right as well. Crimson Phoenix, he's cunning yet brutal. Ravolos, fantastic individual, terrifying in ring. And then, of course, Zephyr Tail. Oh God, that Sharkman has got to be one of the most durable wrestlers I have ever seen. Seriously, he can take it and dish it out tenfold. Oh God, that spinning forearm to the frickin' dome of Reginald. 2 and 3. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, the Doof of the Doofington Estate. And possibly of Apex? Although I will kind of make a mention, no help from Apex in this fight. Doof was was hunting his prey on his own, and he doing a little dance.
I mean, Apex has no reason to help him. It's either, in their case, it's either he proves that he can, do what needs to be done without him, or, because I mean, until then, they don't really have any stake in him. You could argue.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that argument. Because like, if you're gonna be relying on your pack to do your dirty work for you, it it could be seen as weakness, especially with this. I guess you could say renewed, not renewed. This like new philosophy that Apex has been trying to adapt. They've been kind of seeing all the criticism that people have been kind of giving them, and kind of going, no, 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 we're as good as we say you are. Here, we're going to prove it to you. And frankly speaking, it's very admirable of them. If not, they weren't doing it in the most vicious way possible. It's like they're trying to take their naysayers and scrunch them down to the ants that they think everybody are.
We're gonna have to see where Doof's quest to join Apex takes him next after this. But what do we have coming up next, Joe?
Coming up next, I'm glad you asked. So we got a bit of a showcase of the number one contender for the Interdimensional Championship coming up next to you, ladies and gentlemen, as well as his opponent is someone who, had some fiery words to say to our general manager last week. But here we have the number one contender for the Interdimensional Championship, the Grim Reaper, going up against the Prophet of Nortia, representing the Grand Equation, Lionel Matrix. Lionel having this fire lit inside of him, lamenting to Rabbit about missed opportunities, about not asking his own faction to stand up for him to get his job back. And the Grim Reaper pretty much trying to preview to Lord V what he's going to do to him to try and get that title away from Lord V. And just see Reaper working the legs of the young Matrix. Oh god, just slamming on him. And oh god, nice little arm drag there from the Grim Reaper. Going for that cover. One. Ooh, kick out at one. Let's see, a lot of people... Lionel Matrix is no one to sneeze at himself. I mean, yes, he has been getting dealt a bad hand as of late. But he is... he is like one of the most... he was the Rookie of the Year last year for a reason. He's got the freaking charisma, he's got the freaking style, and also he's got the freaking durability, as well as that cunning, that body check as the Reaper came off the top rope, trying to go in for those chops to the chin. Reaper's a... it's, as you heard from Generics, and you can't really go into a striking game with the Grim Reaper. Reaper's one of the better known strikers in MNW. Granted, I can think of like 3 others, one of which is retired, that probably have him outmatched in this regard. But he's no one, like I said, he's no one to sneeze at. Although, Faye, this actually does beg a question. If Lionel gets the win over the Grim Reaper here, would that mean that Lionel would be kind of also in line for a title shot?
You could certainly argue so, and again, he's not really a rookie anymore. He's pretty much starting to become, well, I'd argue he's already become regular amongst the hard. So it's just a matter of, he's been here quite some time already, and he wants to prove it, that he's, worthy of greatness, spreading his message, the message of his
The message of his
his
god.
faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got him by the goozle, set him up, choke slam! Going for that cover. 1, 2. Ooh. That's a Bosco 3 if I've ever heard one. That I heard that slap. God, just that last minute kicking out.
But you did mention his frustrations earlier with Rabbit, which it wasn't only necessarily just the fact that he helped and he felt like he didn't get even any acknowledgement for his work helping out a little faction mate and teacher. It's also just sort of the frustration that he doesn't want to go through what he feels like are pointless hoops and bells and whistles just to get a shot. He just wants to get work done. And he advocates the same thing for the rest of his faction mates as well, as we've seen him just blatantly calling out the press, stop putting Henry Colt in weird showcase matches.
I mean, for sure, because, like, unlike, because, like, Lionel is in the business to get notoriety. He's there to win championships, and he wants to win just about anything that he thinks he's qualified for. Tag championships, interdimensional championship. I mean, I could make an argument for him for the world title, but he would probably prefer to spread his message with the interdimensional. Oh God, setting up Reaper on the top row. What is he doing here? Oh, setting up. Oh God, lifting him up. It's. Jeez. Got top rope move going for that cover. And a kick out at 2. But yeah, like, I love Matrix's drive, especially because, I mean, he said it himself. We are here for gold. If you are in this business, if you are in this company and you are not trying to get gold, what are you here for? Is pretty much what he said. Oh, set him up into that STF-like maneuver, and the Reaper taps to Matrix. Ladies and gentlemen, Lionel Matrix taps out the #1 contender for the Interdimensional Championship, proving what he says is true and pretty much putting his money where his mouth is. It's a fantastic match, and I am curious. And I'm curious where this is going to go towards this coming Friday. But I'm also kind of proud of Matrix. Kind of like, not only was he talking, but he was also walking at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. You know who does a lot of walking but not a lot of talking?
Brad?
Our interdimensional title holder, Lord V, who does not speak. He shapeshifts into other people and speaks using their voices. But oh God, see, now that exactly is what I'm worried about, because Lord V is we saw how many months it took for people to get into the headspace and realize, oh, it was him, and it was OmniGeek of all people. Who, that is not a dumb man. That is a very intelligent man, like of just super levels of genius, and he took some time to even figure that whole situation out. So Matrix is really going to have to, and thankfully he's got a whole faction and team to rely on for training and research and help and just anything, because he's going to need to bring absolutely everything he thinks he needs into a match like that. My only concern is, of course, what might happen if he were to say call out Lord V, or if Lord V were to confront him in the ring. I don't see that ending well.
For sure, especially, see, a lot of people are going to be, like, asking about, like, probably asking Reaper why he tapped out so quickly. And I can just already kind of just see his response, and legitimately speaking, it's a very valid one. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, he has a title shot in 2 weeks' time, set for the 29th. Set for the 29th. So it's next Saturday is Breakdown 9.
I was told it is actually on the 30th, is what it was moved to. Although
Probably
we will keep you guys up to date on that.
still though the 30th. That's still a week.
Yeah,
Oh, that is still
that's
1 week away, ladies and gentlemen. He was probably not wanting to strain himself before that title match. It's like Faye was saying, Lord V is a extraordinary talent that we have in MNW, and he is not to be taken lightly. If a quick tap out meant Lord that the Grim Reaper can fight another day and still be at 100% at breakdown, then he would probably gladly eat the loss just so he can at least wear himself out trying to take that title from Lord V.
There's also the matter of the fact that the Grim Reaper is, let us not forget, a tactician. So, in one way or another, he is throwing someone else into the firing line so he can see what happens to them. So, he is going to get a lot of interesting information out of a match like that, as well as his own title matches. I'm sure he takes all of this into account whenever he does anything in the ring.
I mean, for sure. I mean, it's like you said, he is a tactical genius. He's thinking 20 steps ahead. He's not taking anything for chance. He is trying to get a winning formula.
If he gets something out, if he gets any information out of you, and he will absolutely just exploit that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But of course that is a story for another day. But congratulations indeed to Lionel Matrix, and good luck. Oh my god.
For sure. But that's not the only title match that's going to be at Breakdown, ladies and gentlemen. We have a tag team title match. We have the Time Bandits, Sandman and the Thunderbolts, going up against Honor Bounds, Simon the Psycho, and the Bulldog Grant Martin. Ahead of that match, ladies and gentlemen, we got a singles match with two of the competitors. We have coming down to the ring, the Hunter himself, Simon the Psycho, and his opponent. Coming down to the ring, he is one half of the tag team champions, the Sandman. Exit light, enter night. Ring the bell because the champ is ready for a fight. Fun fact, he actually used to say that but during his first year of Flashbang. I don't know why. I don't know why he stopped. It was a nice little bit of diction. Yeah, and here we see Simon the Psycho chomping at the bits on the Sandman here, trying to rip apart not only his arms but his lower back too, and Sandman giving him the receipt. So yeah, Faye, who do you have? The otherworldly Simon, or do you have the Master of the Hourglass? Hello, Faye. Are you good? Is it the cat?
Sorry about that. I just yes, it was the kitty. He got into the recycling.
I mean, waste not, want not.
I mean, the good news is all the metal cans are gone.
That actually is pretty good because that was kind of just hanging in there. Oh god, just Simon spewing out that green stuff. I don't know what that is. It concerns me. That's where we're already dealing with enough airborne pathogens. I don't want to frickin' deal with another one in the arena. Going for that cover after that Pele kick. And kick out at 2. But yeah, Faye, out of this match...
Very true, Joe, yeah.
Out of this match, who do you have?
Oh, boy. I mean, it's hard not to root for the Sandman. I mean, he's just an incredible wrestler all around, even just despite the fact that he's... of course, one half of the tag team champions. But the man works very, very hard. And it's going to prove to be a tough, wires.
Oh, kick out at 2.
But yeah, no, I think the wires are okay now. So as I was saying, Simon just has a very tough challenge in front of him. I mean, but if he's true to his word as a hunter, he really shouldn't be afraid of anything that he tries to hunt.
Hourglass has been set up. Simon the Psycho's legs just trapped as he gets out of it, and just delivers a punch straight to the good eye of the Sandman. And lifting him up into a gut buster. Going after the legs. Sorry, not the legs, the arms again. Oh god, just adding insult to injury here. And going in for the freaking splash there. Going for that cover. 1, 2. Kick out at 2. God, Simon just coming after the Sandman with all this vigor. Oh god, bouncing off the ropes for a big lariat. Setting up top of the rope. Ooh, a frog splash. Over that cover. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, the #1 contender, Simon the Psycho. God, that unrelenting barrage of strikes and slams was too much for the Sandman to deal with. And here, God, this is always unsettling seeing him do this.
I just think of it as a like he's trying to hype himself up. I mean, I can't blame him. He did very well there, and it's nice to revel in a victory now and then, just really limber up. And I imagine he'll be very excited for his upcoming match. But until then,
ladies and gentlemen, we got more updates of the Ghost this week. But first, we hear from 1/3 of the, I guess you could say one of the parties of interest for the Ghost. Ladies and gentlemen, your Flashbang promo of the week comes from the Night Reaper Zerachis of Doom.
I'm sorry, but this is ridiculous. Ghost, what is your problem with Doom? I thought you hated the Horsemen. Last I checked, Mad Jack, Michael, and myself were never Horsemen. Sure, we're better than them, but we are not them. Originally, I was going to be kind, go into your dreams, and mess with you a little bit, because honestly, you seem more like a kid lashing out than an actual threat. But now it's personal. Clearly, you have something personal against Doom, and we are getting tired of this dance. No more backstage blind-decided attacks, no more run-ins. We want you in ring. Doesn't have to be in a tag match, doesn't have to be a handicap match. It could be any stipulation you so choose if you want one. It just has to be me, Michael, and or Mad Jack across that ring from you. And if you choose to run, well, we'll send you to the same place that faction on your shirt is. See you soon.
And here we see kind of a sting operation taking place. Michael Macabre and Ramon are setting themselves up for a match to draw out the Ghost, Mad Jack and Zerachis, as you heard earlier, flanking Michael Macabre. And, a regular scheduled match between a former Horseman as well as, I guess you could say, the one member of Doom that the Ghost has yet to have attacked. Oh, God.
Yeah, so odds are looking very good for a, oh God, is this, oh no. You know what this is, Joe?
What's up?
This is like that part in the horror movie where they decide, let's actually just summon the demon and get this over with.
Yeah, but it's like, let's just summon, it's like the first 30 minutes of the sequel where it just, like, doesn't happen or something. It's like, let's
Yeah,
summon
and
the
it's just
demon.
a fake out.
Yeah, it's just a fake out. Or it's like a very elaborate like camera shoot or something like that for like publicity, and then afterwards, once the camera stops rolling, that's when everything kind of goes crazy. Happy Halloween, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. True. We're going to see Halloween just right after this year's breakdown. Closer back to home, however, in regards to this ghost, this apparition, this new hunter on the flashbang side of things, has Ramon made any comment about the ghost's threats to quote unquote reject the horseman?
No, nothing has really been said so far outside of what Doom has been kind of what Doom has been lamenting about, especially because Mad Jack and Xerxes have both been targets. Ramon, big target in himself, and then in the week previously, Wiley was targeted.
That doesn't make it again. We did cover that, but that does not make any sense.
Like I said, it's like I said last week. The only other connection that Wiley had with Doom, or even the Horsemen in general, was a 4-man tag match back in 2019 during the first ever breakdown.
Okay, but I'd argue that doesn't really count. Like it was a one-off tag match, wasn't it?
It was a one-off tag match. Yeah, exactly.
And who came out the losing end of that match?
That would be the Horsemen. Actually, no way. I think Doom was. I can't remember. I think that predates our records, because I don't remember who won that match. I want to say it was Doom, Wiley, and Kane, but I could be wrong in thinking it was Punchline straight to the skull of Macabre. 2 kick out at 2. But yeah, I want to. I don't know. I want to say it was the new 4 Horsemen, but I could be wrong. Especially after they unveiled Dr. Grimm as their new Death. Dr. Death Grimm, as they say.
Yeah, and then there was all the there's the Faces of Fear nonsense, and there's everything else, and then now you have the factions that you do today. So that's interesting, though. So Grimm is actually technically a part of the new 4 Horsemen?
Yes, he was. He was named by Grizzly Adams as their new Death. But like we mentioned last week, he's over on Warzone. Hang on. Oh god, looks like he was trying to go in for a soldier, but he looked like some sort of like body slam. And a 3 count. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Michael Macabre. And here we see Michael Macabre just reveling in his victory, trying to bait the ghost out. And Ramon slowly trying to get out of the ring. But unfortunately, the ghost never shows. And, Ramon is a little upset about that.
Maybe, as far as Ramon goes, maybe he just wants to see evidence or just actually see the ghost before he makes any, assumptions or call-outs or anything like that. Just actually understand or get an idea of who this man is or what this man is.
I mean, for sure. Like, he's very elusive, to say the freaking least. But it's also a thing of, like, they're trying to put in the effort to try and catch this guy, but I guess plan A, step 1 didn't work, so they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board to drag him out.
Yeah, this is the problem with this being the new 4 Horsemen. This could be, I mean, let's be honest, this could be a lot of people just in disguise that are already on the roster. We don't even know if this is a new person. And you know the meme of, do you have any idea how narrow that narrows it down? That's just what that is. It's like, can you name the people who don't like the Four Horsemen? Well, that's going to be a lot of people, regardless of which iteration of the Four Horsemen you're looking at.
Yeah, especially because the Ghost often wears that hoodie of the faces of fear. And with his Reject the Horseman, you could say moniker or catchphrase. I'm gonna say moniker. That sounds fancy, but I'm hoping that Doom, Ramon, as well as APS find a way to catch this guy and we can get some answers, because the pattern is formed and everyone's becoming none the wiser on that, you know?
Yeah, it's very interesting, I will say, however, to see that members of the roster are actively working with each other against this ghost, because they're all equally annoyed and they just want him to get out and get this over with.
Yeah, but until then, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more set of contenders to kind of go to kind of mention. But first thing is first, before we get into that match, we had a bit of a scuffle towards the end of the match between Ramon and Michael Macabre, because here we see TK attacking Jack the Questionable ahead of the Troll Trains' hopefully fifth and final match as part of their challenge, and TK trying to give her boyfriend's trio a bit of a leg up in this by going after one of the contenders and Jack the Questionable.
Yeah, supposedly Jack the Questionable was one of the members of the team that the Troll Train that was going to be assembled to face against the Troll Train.
Yeah, and it's a good
Which means if TK over here does enough damage, yeah.
Which it's a good bet to go against, to kind of like trying to preemptively get at Jack. Jack is a wily one. He has made a job and it has gotten expertise in these hit and run scenarios, especially with his work with Gemini, his work with just about anybody who's ever paid the man, and now his work with the Rebel Star, Aurelian Starhand, and Red Star Roman.
Yes, again, the Mercs are unionized now, folks.
That is
so keep an eye out
terrifying.
for that. Yeah, no, it is. That's actually one of the worst things I've learned now. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, that neck breaker on a Jack the Questionable, though. Tiny but mighty is the frickin' pop idol. God, just laying into him. You gotta think about, like if Taigiri showed her how to do some of those strikes, because Jesus Christ, those are precision perfect. Because I think I've heard Taigiri mention a couple of times about arming the sisters of the Nexus. Ooh, nice little sunset flip though.
I mean, even regardless of like the precision strikes, TK is consistently shown to be one of the strangely one of the toughest individuals in the Nexus. Like, I absolutely could believe, and there you go. You see her just absolutely bend Jack the Questionable in half, and he is just laid out unconscious. So they're gonna have to get medical personnel out there and deal with them. But she looks very happy with herself, having. It's not often you can get one up on Jack the Questionable, who is again just so sneaky and sly.
Oh, for sure. I mean, she gave her boyfriend as well as his tag partners an edge over their upcoming opponents. So we're not going to really kind of delve too much on that. We're just going to get right on into it, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next is maybe the final match of the Troll Train Challenge. And here are the aforementioned Troll Train, the Amazon Taigiri, the Son of Thunder Johan Mjoln, and the conductor Tiki the Troll. And their opponents, we have the Faye Queen Kath Gina. A Faye going up against the Troll Train. Bad news. Then coming in second, we have Red Star Roman representing the Rebel Star. And finally, the interdimensional champion, Lord V. So I guess they got Lord V in lieu of Jack the Questionable for this match.
Oh yeah, no, the fact that this man was just so willing to play spoiler, that's kind of, yeah, that's almost like a little bit too much, you know? It's almost a little bit too much to throw against the troll chain, but they're gonna have to just literally steam right on through and just deal with this. We've got fierce competitors in the ring, and Red Star Roman probably not too happy either, seeing Jack getting laid out just minutes before.
I mean, let's not forget, Johan and Tiki were a part of that four-man team that helped dissolve the Empire back at 2021's Multivania. And, oh god, here we see Kathjina just working on the legs of the Amazon. Take out the legs and you take out the Amazon's primary means of offense. But yeah, like, so, Johan and Tiki were part of Fate's team to help dissolve the Empire. Lord V took a bit to recover from that, but he probably still bears a lot of resentment for the duo. And as well as Kathjina, I swear she revels in just spoiling things like this. And I mean, that would be a feather in her cap to not only get a win in this scenario, but also to kind of vacate the #1 contendership from the Troll Train, even though they won it by right. Unfortunately, they still have, oh god, that power slam. They still have this match to win in order to even go to the pay-per-view. If they win, they have their title shot. Oh god, jawbreaker from Taigiri. Oh, look at that stretch muffler from the freaking Amazon, though, and Johan trying to encourage his wife as, well, Tiki's kind of having a time against Red Star as well as Lord V.
Very smart, though, on the outside, both Johan and Taigiri teaming up against Kathjina, because out of the three, I would argue Kathjina is the most sly and underhanded. Specifically because we've seen the woman, like, put her feet up on the rope and just win matches in very sneaky, cheeky ways, which does spoil fun.
Oh yeah, she's very sly, very cunning in like herself, and she's gotten out of so many scenarios, as well as like ducking Jagger Blackthorn for so long, even after bearing the grudge, pretty much making Jagger come to her. But I still think it was overkill having Johan work Kathjina like this. I think Taigiri could have done this by herself, mostly because, I mean, team cohesion. His other partner was pretty much getting lambasted by Red Star and Lord V the entire time, and yet here's Johan going into a bit of overkill, essentially. Taigiri can handle her own. He should know this by now. I mean, that's his fucking wife. Spine buster onto the Amazon. See, and like right there, Johan saw that Tiki was getting pinned, and immediately, I don't know. I don't know if he thought that Tiki could get out of it, but you figure that he would have a lot more focus trying to help out his tag team partner in this scenario. Oh god, Winter's Kiss DDT onto the Troll, going for that cover. 2.9.
That was close. Oh, and we see Lord V just minutes later just pummeling Tiki into the ground.
I heard that, like, after Kathjina hit that Winter's Kiss DDT, I just heard the entire room go silent. The Troll Train so close to their goal being met, and that one thing could have spelled disaster for this trio. Taigiri kicking, catching it into the abdomen, and oh god, dropping the knees onto her jaw. Forget the educated feet of the Amazon at full work, that barrage.
I mean, it is true, though. However, Joe, Because I mean, you have an Amazon in the ring. As far as she's concerned, there's a hunt to be had. You tell her, "Hey, bring it home," and she will do so. So you're winners, ladies and gentlemen, with the Stargazer, the Troll Train.
Lady Stargazer to the Faye Queen, and the Troll Train are going to break down 9 to face AAA for the Trios Championships. It feels good. Like, it feels good seeing the Troll Train actually overcome their self-imposed stipulation, for one, and for two, having a title shot lined up. They won the contendership, but they proved that they are able to go and they are able to get the job done. It's nice seeing them. It's nice seeing them kind of go through, like, overcome this hurdle.
Oh, absolutely! Congratulations all around to the Troll Train, and we look forward to seeing you kick some ass over on Breakdown 9, scheduled for the 30th.
Yeah. Also, kind of like a weird thing. I was backstage a little bit. Noticed that Jacques Tristan was there too. He was just glaring at the screen the entire time. Do you know what that's all about during the match?
I don't know. He's the only thing I've heard from him, even related to that, is he just doesn't like the sound of thunder, and he doesn't even know why.
That's weird. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just.
I'm sorry.
Everyone's watching the Troll Train. Everyone's watching the Troll Train.
Yeah, true. But, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is your main event. And it is the last match of the second round of the Burnout Von Classic. We have the head chef of MNW, Samuel Manatee. And coming down to the ring next is the Chocolate Zombie, Craven Allen. Craven, part of the Fatal 4-Way to crown the inaugural World Heavyweight Championship. Manatee, pretty much, Manatee, seeing that the time is his to get, right, to obtain gold, and especially after everyone's been saying that he's been kind of stuck in the shadow of Suicide Gemini. Could not be less of the case.
True. I mean, it was Samuel Manatee who, of his own volition, he got involved with that whole Gemini and Outlaws and Apex fight, just because he felt it was the right thing to do, like, regardless of who was or wasn't right in that situation. He just wanted to stop the violence from escalating even further. Maybe this is a sign of him just saying, okay, I want to do some real good as champion on the Flashbang side of things. Really wants to. He's a great chef. It's kind of like how you would hold high standards for, your workers and your kitchen. Maybe he wants to hold a high standard in the Nexus as well, which it's a very admirable goal, and it kind of makes sense. Although you've yet to really hear his own word on it, but that's just my guess at why he wants it.
I mean, let's not forget, oh god, that stun dog into that neck breaker. Creative offense from the Chocolate Zombie. God, that freaking lion salt. Yeah, Graydon's been showing up a lot more daring moves as of late. It's been, like, fantastic just to kind of see him cut loose for a change. Oh god, single leg drop kick. Now, but let's not forget Samuel Manatee, the general manager's right harbinger of destruction, not harbinger, avatar of destruction, the bringer of the chicken strips. God, you think that Manatee's been kind of making chicken strips into overdrive now that Rabbit's back as GM?
I mean, possibly. I mean, oh god, have you had, like, really good, like, homemade fucking chicken strips?
I've had
I'm hungry now. Let's stop.
I've had Manatee's chicken strips. Hang on, I gotta take a call real quick. Phyllis is kind of saying something to me. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, the action in front of you right here. Graven Allen is he's finding Manatee. It seems to be a little bit much of a challenge, but I'm just waiting for the Chocolate Zombie to get right back up and kicking. He is a very resilient man, as we were discussing. He was here to crown the inaugural champion. So he's gone up against pretty much everyone in the Nexus, and the things he can pull out from just nowhere. It's a skill that he's just collected. He wants to win over everybody. And he's got a couple matches for himself lined up in the future. Not just shots at the world heavyweight belt.
Was a family emergency that had to be looked at, and everything's fine. So yeah, just Graven just worked the freaking lower back of Manatee there. Oh god, swinging neck breaker too. Although I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see Graven go up against Victor Vicious for that world title. And what's going on here? Oh god, here we see Suicide Gemini coming down to the ring to help his partner Samuel Manatee. And I guess it was enough distraction to get Manatee some momentum, but here we see Graven kind of back at it.
Oh yeah, that must be tough, because I don't think Manatee would have wanted him to come out.
No, because like Manatee is probably one of the most honorable people in the entire. I guess I'll say in the entire company. I mean, we have that rule of don't fuck with catering for a reason. So, and
yep,
he's a very lax individual, very chill. Just don't get on his bad side. Never mess with the guy that cooks your food. And oh god, just Manatee working on the legs of Graven there. Take out the legs. You do kind of like limit his aerial offense. Oh, nice little crucifix there. Although I will kind of say this about Manatee, he's doing the correct thing of. I mean, he seems to be a little flabbergasted about the kick out there, but he's actually doing the correct thing of going for more covers. If you go for more covers, then you pretty much waste everyone's energy. Grave.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean it makes sense. Chefs are pretty meticulous about this sort of thing, and he knows that if he can draw this out and potentially outlast Graven, or just wait for an opening, the victory could be his. I was about to also joke that Manatee's flipping Graven over, like a patty.
Flipping him like a patty, and oh, sorry, we were vamping now, and I missed the 3 counts. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and going on to face Nausea here at the Burnout Vaughn Classic, Samuel Manatee. And here we see the brackets, ladies and gentlemen. Samuel Manatee is going to be facing Nausea, as well as the Madness is going to be going on to face Wiley. I believe it's Wiley. Please don't quote me on that. Hang on. I got the freaking thing right here. No one panic. Seriously though, that chef special out of nowhere though surprised the crap out of everybody, and just got him closer. It is Wiley. All right. Thank you, Phyllis. But seriously, though, this semifinal is becoming interesting, like more and more interesting to say the least. I mean, I never would have thought that Samuel Manatee would actually get to the semifinal. I mean, we have a lot of individuals here. I mean, freaking Brawl Kaiser Nero, Jackie Q was a good contender as well. I mean, hell, Suicide Gemini as well. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, you think that Suicide Gemini also would have came in to kind of avenge the loss from the week previous? Like, from the match previous?
Oh, boy. That's a,
Because, like...
that's not impossible, yeah.
Because, like, looking at the bracket here, especially because it's interesting that Suicide Gemini and Manatee were in the exact same block, let alone the exact same column here. I mean, we could have had Gemini versus Manatee by all due accounts, but this actually does kind of pose a question of, did Gemini go to avenge his loss, or did he actually go to help his friend?
Very interesting. Given that the trajectory of what Suicide Gemini's on, it's probably a mixture of both. He's probably still grateful that Manatee, stuck his neck out for him. Maybe he. But had it not been Manatee there, let's say had it been Alexis Edmonton in that position, I absolutely agree that he would have just gone out there to try to beat up Gravenon, which kind of begs the question if he's missed his chance now. Because I think the only reason he didn't do anything is because it was Manatee out there. Maybe he didn't want to see him, do that. But we might have to see this Friday, actually, because he might act on that.
For sure. It's like you said, we're just going to have to wait until Friday. As well as, I mean... Although I am kind of thinking about what you just said. Because it sounds like he probably would have done this even if it wasn't Manatee, though.
No. Suicide Gemini is an individual who, he really likes to, pick a victim.
Yeah. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more bit of business to attend to. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, your Flashbang moment of the week.
And right now, Lord B and Red Star Roman doing their job. They've got Control Train on the outside and isolated. And a rope break right there. Ty Geary able to get her foot under the ropes. Kept Gina was looking for the Winter's Kiss. And again, Troll Train getting dominated right now. Johan and Tiki trying to turn the tables on the outside. Kept Gina looking for the finishing touches on Ty Geary. Boot to the midsection. Ty Geary off the ropes and then knee to the face. And now the kicks, the elbow, another kick and a knee to the face. Tiki's got Lord B occupied. Johan. Oh, there it is, Stargazer! She got it, the Stargazer 2! She did it! I don't believe it! Here are your winners, the team of Johan Mule, Tiki the Troll and Ty Geary, the Troll Train! The Troll Train is going to break down!
The Troll Train finishing their challenge and getting that trios title shot. That is your moment of the week. And that is Flashbang for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The go-home show for Breakdown 9 is tomorrow at twitch.tv/Edward Bosco. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Now, before we get into the Warzone side of things, we have our in-between segment. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have the call-out this week. Now, normally this would have been Neobek's week to provide us a call-out, but he sent me a note that just said, hey, boss. He said, okay, he put boss with like a parentheses, question mark, parentheses. Well, I don't know what that means. He said, well, not able to do a call out this week because I have minion evaluations to do. I was curious. I progressed further, and he's like, no, trust me. I have hundreds of these guys to go through. You don't want to know. And I'm like, fine, I guess. I don't. Yeah, fine. And so I dug deep into my archives to do to pull out one that I did. I want to say this was like 2020. Let's see here. Get a bit of a more accurate. Yeah, here we are. 2021, May of 2021 was when I did this. So, classic call out. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess take it away, me. Thank you, Firing Line, and welcome back to the call out. My name is Joe. My next guest is a bit of a tricky one. The brass have advised me to mention this because the subject of this next guest's religion will be at the forefront of this interview and be mentioned a lot. So please keep this in mind. For my next guest, he is a newcomer to Friday Night Flashbang. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lionel Matrux.
Wake up your mind.
Lionel, thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here. I was a bit weary of it at first, but Nortia reassured me that this was an excellent opportunity to spread her word, and in that I must agree.
Before we begin, we did give a notice in the beginning of the interview about your passion for your religion, so I have to make a mention of that one. By the way, I'm fine where I am at spiritually, so please, none of that. But as one of Flashbang's newest members, we don't really know a lot about you. So what can you tell us about yourself for those who do not know?
Well, my story before meeting Nortia isn't too important, except for maybe one or two events that lead to that moment. Most wrestling ventures on the universe I come from tend to go the more extreme route. And considering my size, I had to learn how to use the environment to my advantage, especially tables and chairs. I did not like that lifestyle, so as soon as I discovered how to travel the multiverse, I left everything and came here.
You mentioned previous promotions went to extremes, like, did they mistreat you at all?
Oh no, I'm talking real extreme. Crimes were committed in the middle of the ring. People got crippled, and careers were ended. I hated seeing that, but no one seemed to want to change it.
Ah, I see. I mean, I will admit we do have those kinds of events here, but thankfully those are very few and far between. So, was it during these times that you found your goddess?
Well, due to other circumstances, I found myself jobless and down on my luck. I was desperate for answers, and as if my wish had been granted, I tripped, literally tripped, on an old history book. I started reading it, and found out about a goddess who could fix my situation, and grant me the happiness I was looking for. After following some of the steps in the book, I started seeing a lot of changes in my life. One of those being the opening to the multiverse.
So, what all did you have to do?
Do you have time for 3 more call-outs?
No more multi-part episodes anytime soon. So, we will move on from that. We have a few people who can speak to their deities. Does this Nortia speak to you?
Not at first, no. For some odd reason, one of the first things that happened to me when I entered the Nexus was hearing Lady Nortia's commands for the first time. I'll be honest, it was scary at first, but I got used to it. Her first command, Join Flashbang's Performance Center. The rest is history.
Have you been told as to why MNW?
All I've been told is that there are certain things in the multiverse that need, fixing. And, as someone once said, we can't expect God to do all the work. So far, commands have been specific things that the lady understandably cannot take part in, such as helping Kaiser stay on the roster, or help Henry Colt with his situation.
At Breakdown 6, you were the surprise entrant in Kaiser's Get Off the Schneid match, where you and Brawl were the last two remaining. What was it like debuting with such high stakes?
To people like Brawl, it may have been a match with high stakes, but to me, it wasn't. I don't enjoy hurting people like I did Kyo and Denki, but when done righteously, it's a chore like any other, and there are a lot of chores to be done.
Now a part of the Flashbang roster, if you don't mind me asking, what are some of these plans or chores, you've called them, your goddess Nortia has asked you to do?
Of course you'd like to know. Lady Nortia gives me her commands one by one, so as to not jeopardize the whole picture. I'm curious myself as to where this is all going, but I started to sense a pattern regarding that. Good luck trying to get me to speak about her plans, though. I wouldn't tell you even if I knew.
Let me guess. If I want to see what her plans are, I'd have to join your religion.
Like I said, not even I know what the full picture looks like, but don't lose sleep over it. I'm sure we will all know sooner or later. Oh, and just to be clear, all of our members have willingly joined our group through situations similar to mine, and have helped each other improve ourselves. I don't understand why everyone and their mother keeps blabbering on about cults and whatnot. I personally find it offensive.
If I'm being fair, someone who comes in with a goddess no one's ever heard of, as well as a charismatic leader at the helm, it looks like some very similar situations that we've had in the past.
Well, that sounds like a you problem, not a Nortia problem. Altita Prinza Amarista.
See, that's where you and I will have to agree there, Leonel. I don't really like yellow journalism either. I prefer to report the facts. I speak like 5 languages, by the way, and Spanish is the most common one I use.
Well, smart guy, you are free to come by any time, and you'll see why Henry Colt was so eager to join our cause. The same goes to everyone else in the locker room. You are all free to stop by. Or don't. I'm sure Nortia even has plans for those who don't care about us.
We are running out of time, but with all this being said and done, as we are winding down here, is there anything that you would like to tell the Firing Line audience?
Like many people before me have said, something big seems to be brewing in the multiverse. I believe that is the reason I was called here. However, I don't know what stance Nortia wants to take in whatever that is. I just want to say that whenever that happens, I will be ready to represent the lady's name and uphold her values. Buenas noches, Multiverse.
I would like to thank my guests for joining us, and if you would like to see Leonel in action, please tune in to twitch.tv/EverettBosco for Friday Night Flashbang, Fridays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This has been Joe, signing out. Thank you, Leonel, for that. I'll look back as to where he came from last year. And we have a post on social media from our other interviewer, Travis Carey. Monster counting and busy work. I'm not saying that. I am not. I refuse to say that word, Travis. Anyway, Well, just so you know, my little cobalt friend, I have plenty of interviews ready and lined up. It's hard to reach the tasty fruit at the top of the interview tree with some shortcomings. I don't think
You'd have to challenge him to challenge each other to do a ladder match to get to the top of the tree, if you know what I'm saying.
I'm just imagining Niabek just having all of his minions form like a totem pole ladder, like a minion ladder, to just like
And
lift
what,
him
get
up.
like a giant, and get like what, like a giant fake coin off the top of like a chain hanging from the ceiling? Yeah, I can see that.
No, it's a microphone.
True.
God. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, that is the call out for this week. Next week we are going to have one from Mr. Travis Carey, as mentioned earlier. And, well, Faye, are you ready for the end? Because, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next we have the go-home show for Warzone prior to Ragnarok. All gods must die, and oh my god, this is a pretty action-packed episode, if I do say so myself.
Absolutely, and we officially have the entirety of the card ready, which we will cover as we go through the show, because this is the go-home show, leading up until this 22nd.
Yeah, this coming Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, is the big pay-per-view. I would get hype. I would get hype all day and every day, but until then, much like with Friday Night Flashbang, we're gonna have a singles match scheduled for one fall, representing the tag team division. And here we have one half of the tag team champion, Sasquatch Wing, representing the Olods. And coming up next, we have one half of the number one contenders, one half of High Voltage. Anyway, it's Wonderball. So the champion versus a challenger in a singles contest. Faye, who do you have?
Oh boy, this is a very important match. Probably the most important match for Wonderball's entire career. He's up against just look at Sasquatch Wing. I mean, come on, like that is a gargantuan obstacle to try to overcome. But Wonderball has the entirety of High Voltage and the mentorship of Aiden Zero backing him up, and he's got his partner Leonid Sanchez waiting in the wings. That was not an intended pun, but this is a very important match in regards to just putting himself up against one of his opponents and getting an idea of what he can actually do up against Sasquatch Wing. And it's an important match for Sasquatch Wing, of course. He needs to understand his challenger. But if Wonderball can get any momentum over Sasquatch Wing today and learn, most importantly, learn about his opponent, he will be off to a great start with himself and Leonid at this upcoming pay-per-view.
I mean, I couldn't say it better myself. I mean, any kind of, like you said, any kind of momentum is good momentum. I mean, Sasquatch Wing gets the win. It could hold a psychological advantage over Wonderball as well. I mean, Wonderball's has been going on I want to say a 3-match winning streak with Leonid Sanchez, and they've been putting on tremendous matches and getting tremendous results. And I mean, especially with that fire lit from under not only Sanchez and Wonderball, but also, as you said, Aiden Zero. He's been kind of shooting from all cylinders to try and make a name of what this version of High Voltage could be. With Jake, with Jake and Chaz, it was mostly just, two very close friends kind of just taking on the entirety of the Nexus. Jake bringing in Aiden Zero under his wing, and now with Chaz in the murder cave and Jake, well, dealing with Jaunt, Oh, God, here it is. The ban. This choking out the... attempting to choke out the Sasquatch. Oh, it looks like
Absolutely.
I apologize. Go ahead.
I mean, Aiden Shota, he's not called Choking Hazard for nothing. I mean, that is his entire motto right there.
Now, the choking hazard, the harm assist. I mean, take your freaking pick. He's a very chill and laid back individual, but I would argue that he takes his job, like this portion of his job, as like the utmost serious. Oh God, that freaking driving the elbow to the back of Sasquatch's head. Go over that cover. 2. Kick out at 2. Oh God, just ripping the head off the freaking lad there. Oh God, Sasquatch is going to the top row, proving why he's Sasquatch Wing. That is 400 some odd pounds landing on you, and freaking Wonderball kicks out at 2. Seriously, that is a freaking Sasquatch dropping on top of you, ladies and gentlemen. If that doesn't, any normal individual would get put down from that. Lord knows if he landed on if Sasquatch landed on me like that, I'd be done for like a month. I'm not I don't work out, legit. I'm a fucking, look at that. It's all fat and flab. Speaking of using weight against him, though, Wonderball setting up for Sasquatch Ring and another ban. This. Well, looks like that Sasquatch was going to tap out. Just trying to feel around for the rope, and Wonderball breaks the hold. Going for that cover. Sasquatch could be passed out. 2. Ooh, kick out at 2. The champ is not saying die today. God, and this is just an exhibition match between these two individuals. Imagine what the tag match is going to look like. Lifting him up and just dropping him into that gorilla press. Oh, has Wonderball by the skull trying to cave it in. Trying to work the neck. Wonderball feeling the pressure of his skull. Sasquatch breaks the hold. Oh, God. He's going back up to the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Sasquatch is going to fly. Going for that cover. 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this match one half of the Warzone Tag Team Champions, Sasquatch Wing of the O-Lods. Oh, Lord, that freaking Sasquatch dropped. And Wonderball showing a sign of respect to the champion. It's nice to see some sportsmanship ahead of their title match. And as we mentioned earlier, ladies and gentlemen, next week, the O-Lods defend their Warzone Tag Team Championship against High Voltage. I'm legitimately excited for this match. If I wasn't working here, I would this would be the match I'm most excited for.
Oh no, I can definitely see why. This. Oh boy, the dynamics at play in this one, especially considering how I don't think everyone is this is a major comeback for High Voltage here. Imagine the work they're gonna do in the Nexus as tag champs.
For sure, and that's going to be this, as stated on the card here, that's going to be this coming Saturday. But until then, we have more to kind of go after. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we have some words from the Hardcore Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Suplex Sam.
That's right, babes. It's Suplex Sam on the mic. Your Warpgate Hardcore Champion, the end-all, be-all of professional wrestling, baby. That's right. And, I got something to say to 2 pricks in the back. First off, I ain't no clown, if that's what you're insinuating. And second off, You think you're the bad guy? You think you're gonna have to step out here and you're gonna have to do things that you regret? I am the Warp Gate Hardcore Champ, and you don't think I'm hardcore because I say fuck the rules? Well, guess what? Fuck you too! That's right in your face, Sawyer, you limp dick butt. But you know, I've been thinking about you, and I've been thinking about your little custodian friend and your stupid challenge, alright? You want a shot? Well, I have a little bit of an idea. How about we take this tag action? You're gonna fight me and one of my VIP brethren at Ragnarok. And if you win, I will vacate the title. I'll leave it alone. I'll drop it right at your feet. There you go. Decide amongst yourselves. But if you lose that tag match, well, then you can never challenge for it again.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Suplex Sam and Aussie Turan, who was named later in the night, are going to be taking on the team of R. Sawyer and the Janitor. If Sam and Aussie win, that means that the Janitor and R. Sawyer cannot contend for the hardcore for the Warpgate Hardcore title as long as Suplex Sam is the champion. God, this is interesting because it's another instance of can they coexist when it comes to Sawyer and the Janitor. I mean, Aussie Turan and Suplex Sam, I mean, they're same team. They've been working together for the better part of a year now, so you've got to think that that they have a pretty good even flow, you know.
And absolutely, it's going to be interesting to see how this will impact Sam as well as VIP. I mean, he seems very confident, of course, Suplex Sam, and I mean, he has the right to be. I would argue either way, like he's genuinely defended the Warpgate Hardcore Championship. He really wants to just raise the stakes, no matter the way he goes about it. And he has said, as we have just heard, he will drop the belt and let them decide between themselves what to do with it. So should they win? Should the Janitor and our Sawyer win, we're gonna have to see those two go up against each other, more than likely, which will be very interesting because both of them are racing for that Grand Slam champ status. Just to make everything interesting, and I'm always a fan for that. I'm always a fan for the wrestlers throwing out interesting little stipulations, and of course Sam just adding the stipulation that, hey, I win, y'all need to wait your turn. Yeah. Well, he didn't want them to go after it ever again, but our general manager, Jerry Aldini, made it very clear that it has to be as long as Suplex Sam is champ.
But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see the results of that this coming Saturday. But we first have a little bit of business when it comes to our Warzone promo of the week. Now, in retrospect, now that I'm thinking about it, you know, hindsight's 2020, and it's kicking my butt right now. We could have probably played this before the Suplex Sam one, but yeah, let's get on into it now, just so we can save face. Ladies and gentlemen, your Warzone promo of the week. R. Sawyer.
Jerry, what did I say? Did I not warn you? Screw the rules, I have VIP money. And who comes out? The epitome of VIP money. Aussie fucking Turan. So, we've established that Suplex Sam doesn't want to play by the rules. He thinks that by screwing the rules, he's going hardcore. But that's not what hardcore's all about, no. And I also warned you, Jerry, that if Suplex Sam kept this up, I would have to show the bad guy. I don't want to be the bad guy, but I'm gonna have to be the bad guy. So Suplex Sam, congratulations. You're now meeting the Clown Slayer. And I don't mean the fucking chairs. I mean me. The arsawyer that was on Isla Scorn. So congratulations. You wanna get nuts? Come on then. Let's get nuts.
You know, as much as I love the sound of you're gonna meet the Clown Slayer, the Scorn of Isla Scorn, which is kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it. I'm kind of terrified. When Sawyer gets serious, he gets, well, he put it himself. He gets crazy. And, oh boy. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, he's taking this, I can only assume he's gonna be taking the stipulation of this very seriously. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we go from one grudge to another. For at Ragnarok, we are going to be seeing Ignacio Cervantes taking on Sergeant Major Payne. And going into before their match, they both agreed to do a tag team contest where they both pick their tag team partners. And, well, let's kind of get on into it. Here we see the social outcast himself, Ignacio Cervantes, and his chosen tag team partner, Carcharodon. And here we see the chosen partner of Sergeant Major Payne, Glycerus. And here we have the aforementioned soldier, Sergeant Major Payne. And not gonna lie, Jerry and Pete were kind of putting this over on commentary, but I do have to echo those statements of this was actually a good idea for both sides. I mean, Carcharodon is a wild card, yes, but he does have like that durability to kind of withstand just about anything. And well, how do you counter a luchador, but with another luchador, especially one as creative as Glycerus is, especially with that freaking off the rope Pele kick, like sending all kinds of momentum. And we got a post on social media by MNW commentator Michael Montoya. Cervantes makes me want to belt sand my forehead. Okay, we're just saying harmful shit on the internet today. Good to know. Anyway, Carcharodon breaking up the count here. I mean, out of these two teams, Faye, who do you have?
Oh boy, these gentlemen have picked very, very dangerous opponents for each other. Because either Carcharodon or Glycerus add such a dangerous element to the match. Glycerus, I mean, for his reputation as the master of street lucha, that man will take every advantage in the ring and he'll just turn it into his own. I mean, he's for the streets. Well, Carcharodon has been, in recent times, more embracing this demonic side. He's just really trying to codify and bring like a level of threat into the ring, which you are going to absolutely get to see. So very wise picks for the both of them. But it's going to be very hard for Ignacio Cervantes to get a leg up and really surprise Glycerus here. I mean, this man's seen a lot.
I mean, for sure. I mean, Glycerus has lived through since like the early stages of MNW. I mean, he thankfully him and his Lucha on the Rocks friends were well, I guess one is a former friend, but that's semantics. Oh God. Glycerus trying to go after Carcharodon, but Carcharodon gets away for that freaking Megadon impact. 2 and breaks out at 2 with the help of Glycerus, of course. But yeah, like, I mean, he's probably one of the most experienced people outside of, oh, speaking of outside, a powerbomb onto the outside from freaking Carcharodon. Ooh, nice senton. Going for that cover again. 2.9 once more. Tagging in the social outcast. Ooh. Looks like he's trying to go in for like a freaking moonsault of his own from the top rope. Oh, a super kick. Going for that cover. Jeez. Coming hard out the gate like that. God, they cannot wait to get at each other's throats. Like, have you seen like anyone pretty much try to eviscerate each other on sight like that, Faye?
No, and it's just kind of very sad because, like Sergeant Major Payne has said, he thought things had ended well as far as Cloud9 was concerned, but obviously the case is not. Like, maybe I wonder sometimes, has Defunct really messed with Ignacio's head?
That's a really good point. Here it is, the Blitzkrieg. Going for that cover. 1, 2, 3. Carcharodon not going to save his partner. And ladies and gentlemen, your winners of this match, Sergeant Major Payne and Glycerus. Got big win ahead of their match up at Ragnarok. And a big win for Glycerus as well. Hopefully we can see some form of title contention for him going forward. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, as we said, this is Ignacio pretty much making this personal for. Has there been a reason why Ignacio was targeting him?
I think it just kind of goes back to the last days of Cloud9. I recall, it was a 4-man match in which Defunct had organized to try to get all of Cloud9 kind of on the same page, and he did end up winning. But I do recall Ignacio and Sergeant Major Payne, if I'm correct, faced off against each other very brutally in said match. I think it's just kind of both of them maybe leftover discontent with everything that happened. Although Sergeant Major Payne seems to just be finding his own way forward, just kind of disciplining himself, realizing obviously, that wasn't the best way forward through Cloud9. And Ignacio, I'm not really sure. He's really taken an interesting direction, and I'm not sure if it has to do with him feeling more of an outcast now than ever, or if there's something else really going on.
You think it's also kind of just one of those things where he does kind of blame Defunct for leaving them, and well, he's also kind of trying to take it out on Sergeant Major Payne because towards the end of Cloud9's run, Sergeant Major Payne was just kind of slowly trying to break out of it, and I think Ignacio probably resents him for moving on as quickly and not really kind of helping him with his own thing. I mean, I don't know. I'm purely speculating at this point.
I mean, we'll see. It will depend really on how this match concludes or does not conclude everything. So we're gonna have to catch that over on Ragnarok this weekend.
For sure. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we got another bit of business to kind of get at. We got some words from the not the World Hardcore Champion, apologies. We got some words from the Big Oof Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Constantinople.
Oh, none of you have the capacity, the ability to understand the amount of rage, the amount of anger, the amount of hatred and boiling chaotic energy that courses through me. At this very moment, you don't understand. You couldn't, Nigma. I was trying to leave behind anything that could have connected me with mortal flesh. That could have connected me to old wounds, to old emotions, these things that don't matter anymore. But now they plague my head. They're stuck there and they won't go away, and it's because of you, Nigma. Nigma! Oh, how I wish I could tear you apart and destroy you bit by bit, inside and out. And why were you...
Enigma. This is going to be interesting. Mr. Igning, he generally doesn't talk a lot.
He's spoken once?
Once. In the whole time he has been with the company, he has spoken once.
And a few words.
Very few. Hell, his paycheck goes to an LLC. We don't even know his real name. But I guess we're going to hear something now.
Just...
Nigma. Say something. What is it? What do you... You think I'm stupid, don't you? You think I don't know why you came out and ruined my moment to be free of the flesh? You think I don't know? You think I'm stupid, that's it. You doubt my prowess. No? Isn't that not... What else could it be, then? What else could it be, then? Tell me, Nigma. Don't just stand there. Look me in the eye and tell me why you did what you did. Why you ruined my perfect storm. Tell me. Tell me now. Come on. I know why you did this. You did this for Kirik. You did this for my brother, didn't you? It was him. He put you up to this. He knew, and you both conspired to ruin my night and rain on my parade. You insolent creatures of flesh, the both of you will be flayed.
You talk too much.
Oh, wait a minute!
Oh! Able to pull through, though.
Screw it! We don't have a match for the Big Oof at the pay-per-view anyway, so I'm calling it right now! These two will face each other at Ragnarok for the belt!
Enigma is playing with Constantinople. He's trying to frustrate him.
Well, and it's working!
Enigma came out here to do nothing but piss off Constantinople and get himself a match, and it looks like he has.
I mean, he is a man of mystery, but a man of strategy. We've seen that multiple times. This is one of the reasons why he is part of GIF Inc. He is...
Here we go. We got an official...
And coming up on Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Big Oof title match. After that, Mr. Enigma takes on the Constant Nightmare, Constantinople. Oh boy. Mr. Enigma standing up for his GIF Inc. brethren in Osman Kielik, and kind of, I guess, getting some form of revenge over the Constant Nightmare's win over Osman. Although there's a lot of what happened of the interactions between Osman and freaking Constantinople that I really don't know what the hell is going on with them, but I guess it was enough to bring Enigma down to defend his friend. Because I just don't know. Like, my I guess you could say my journalist brain is kicking in, and my instincts are telling me there's something deeper here.
Well, I mean, half of the problem is, well, not necessarily a problem, but Mr. Enigma, who we finally heard from, he's just not very talkative. He's just very observant, and he wants to get things done. As we've seen, he's gone behind the scenes, and he was actually the mystery informant who actually helped tipped off the Mounties back when Pupusa Monkey PI was investigating the VIP Maximilian Thunderthigh situation.
For sure, but we're gonna hopefully see what's gonna come about that later on in the night. And really no, okay, yeah, just go ahead and patch them on through. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a call on the hotline. Hello, MNW Firing Line.
Well, I hope in advertising all these big matches, you haven't forgotten ours.
Wouldn't dream of it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Butler. Now, Mr. Butler, you yourself, Nakano Kirishima, and your boss, Sir Uncle Dunk of Blood Money, are going up against Alistair Evergreen and Omega Club. I mean, tell me, what's been kind of the main strategy that you guys have been trying to incorporate for this upcoming trios match?
Basically, we've been trying to make sure that we're all ready to predict any element of surprise that they might throw at us. I mean, there are certain people in that match that some of us haven't had much experience with.
For sure. And here we see the card, ladies and gentlemen. And, I mean, you also do gotta kind of think that, the unpredictability of, not really going up against people, going up against people that you're not really particularly used to, even though you and Alistair have been kind of having those backstage brawls for about, a month now? And after your guys' first initial meeting?
I don't bother to remember encounters with such vagrants or dogs.
I want to say he's a wolf, not a dog, but, tomato, tomato. But, how about Whitney Lee and Gunnar Birch of Omega Club?
Who?
Well then, as we are kind of previewing this, Mr. Butler, do you have anything to tell the Firing Line audience before we have to progress further?
Anything I have left to say, you'll hear at Ragnarok.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Butler. We're going to be going ahead and progressing further. And I'm not going to lie. If I were Mr. Butler, I would not dismiss. I would not dismiss Gunnar and Whitney. They are technically his senior, especially with their expertise in tag team wrestling. And have you seen Gunnar? He got jacked all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, what the hell? But yeah, Gunnar Birch and Whitney Lee, as you've been saying, they've worked with the company for a long time, as per Omega Club and Omega Pub, which, remember, is one of the oldest factions in MNW, if not the oldest. So they have, if people forget, they have, a wealth of, information to tap into, and Gunnar Birch and Whitney Lee themselves have been tag teaming together for a long time. Of course, Blood Money has also been tag teaming together for a long time. But Omega Club may potentially have the advantage in just tenure, you could say. Although, of course, the wild card is one of our newest rookies, Alistair Evergreen, who's beyond teaming up with Omega Club. He's only tag teamed technically once, and that was for a gatekeeper match.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you said, the unpredictability of Alistair is kind of going to be key in this match. He dubs himself the Hardcore Ace. What was it? The Violent Vagabond or something like that. He's been trying to work on punk diction and things like that. So I would not take him lightly. When you have a loose cannon like that, Yeah, no, that's gonna spell that's gonna spell all kinds of disaster for your team. I mean, yeah, you have the power of Mr. Butler, the technical prowess of Sir Uncle Dunk, as well as the ridiculously hard striking game of Nakano Kirishima. Seriously, that man is a master of strong style, and he is not afraid to show you why he is. Christ. But like this, also, I also would like to make mention of Whitney Lee. He was the one who retired Alpha Kong. He was handpicked by Alpha Kong to pretty much put him out to pasture. So if I were Blood Money, and with how smart Uncle Dunk is, he is not taking this lightly whatsoever. Oh, actually, another factor is like you mentioned earlier, Blood Money is a well-oiled machine, whereas Omega Club and Alistair, I mean, Alistair is kind of a wild card factor in that one as well. I mean, Lord knows that Whitney Lee and Gunnar Birch, they think the same. They know each other that well, but they don't know Alistair all that much. Their instincts probably won't kick in as much.
There's also another factor of, very simply put, Joe, it is pride. And Alistair, I would argue, is a very prideful individual. The problem that I would actually argue with this match is that Alistair is going to have to spend absolutely every minute, every second awake that he is in training with Omega Club for this. Because otherwise, if they don't function well enough as a tag team, it will be Blood Money who will become the victor. And they will certainly never let Alistair forget it, and that is going to be under his skin for the rest of his career in the Nexus.
Oh, for sure. But, ladies and gentlemen, until then, we have a lot more to get through. We spent a little extra time talking about that particular match. But, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we have a singles match scheduled for one fall, just a small little exhibition between you could say one of the ultimate underdogs and one of the most oppressing motherfuckers that we have on the roster. Here we see One Chance, formerly One Jobber, strutting on down to the ring. Just give him one chance. And his opponent, representing the Murder Cave, the ruler of Easel Scorn, I'm not reading these fucking titles, Dr. Grimm. Fuck him. Who said that? Wasn't me. Might as well call her
Mr. Sprinkles, when did you learn to talk?
If that thing actually begins to talk, I'm gonna call an old priest, a young priest, a bounty hunter, as well as like 5 other freaking warriors to kind of go around and I don't know, do some puzzles or something.
But that is neither here nor there. It's very interesting, because this is a direct follow-up to Dr. Grimm essentially calling out One Chance, saying, oh, well, if anyone who just fights me gets a title shot, well, you need to not... don't forget that the Murder Cave is just a tremendous force to be reckoned with, and he is very correct.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. The Murder Cave individually are terrifying. Altogether... together, oh my, they are a lethal team.
Which that kind of does bring up an interesting point. People on social media have noticing how Dr. Grimm has seemed like a little taller and just like a little bit different. We're not really sure if it was. I mean, Dr. Kelvin personally healed the man, apparently, but it just feels like there's something off. For me personally, what feels the most off is the fact that he's out in the forefront almost. Like, it's usually that he sends out everybody else. Because, like, he's the one, like, usually working behind the scenes. So I'm really curious and also kind of terrified what angle he's playing at. If he's, like, putting himself front and center like this. Like, something feels wrong about that, you know?
Yeah, because, like,
I don't know.
Especially, like, as you said, like, he hasn't been... You could make an argument that he isn't at 100%, especially after getting stitched back together by Dr. Caliban. And I also, like, you know, they made mention, I mean, who better to stitch body parts together than freaking Dr. Caliban, but
I mean, they're both mad scientists, don't forget.
Yeah, but they're also... I thought they were bitter rivals, too. I mean, guess Hippocratic Oath and whatnot. Oh, God, that mandible claw just injecting all kinds of toxins. I don't know if he's, like, injecting all kinds of toxins or if that's just for shock value, but just ripping at the throat of Juan Chance, going for that cover. Juan Chance kicks out at 2. Oh, yeah, like, I don't... Like, it's... Like... Going back to what you said, Faye, I don't know if this is like a angle that he's playing at, like that he's only perceiving, making people perceive himself as, you could say, weaker or lesser, or if he's being upright and honest. Which, for Dr. Grimm...
Why?
For Dr. Grimm, I never believe a word he says, even if he tells me that it's like... If this man came in here and told me that it was noon, and I looked at my clock and said it was noon, I would look at him immediately and say, no, I don't believe you.
I mean, let's be honest, like, it's like, I would believe him if he said, if he came in and told me he replaced my cat with, like, an android when I wasn't looking, I'd believe that. Like, I mean, he's a very self-serving individual.
He is, and the thing is, though, he is a master of these freaking mental games. It's concerning is, well, just is, I can't find a word that's bigger than concerning at the moment, but a freaking label lock, not label lock, a freaking jawbreaker like maneuver, and Dr. Grimm taps out. Big win for Juan Chance, though. And Michael Montoya is going absolutely crazy. He really does not like Juan Chance.
No, he does not. But neither again does Dr. Grimm. But both for very separate reasons. Surprising match overall, but again, I'm just kind of scared. Like, what plot is this part of? Like what necessitates Dr. Grimm going out like in a forefront like this? Like, again, it's concerning.
For sure. Like, and I understand that we're only feeding into the paranoia by being paranoid, but
he's a good reason to be paranoid, though.
Never underestimate that fuck. Just saying. Never underestimate the atrocities that he can do. Look at what he did to Isla Scorn as an example. I will never forgive him for that fucking act of, I want to say heresy, but I don't think any religion imaginable could purge whatever that happened. Seriously, Sawyer had a fucking field day, and I am glad he had fun. Anyway, moving on, so I don't work myself into an aneurysm. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we got some words from the man, the myth, the legend himself ahead of his match against Louis McDonald for the Mystery in the Bank. Now, I have to mention that before this match last week, Jerry Aldini laid a no contact clause. If either side of Legion or the Wild Hunts strike each other, poke at each other, or even graze each other with their elbows, anything physical like that, they have to immediately surrender a match advantage to the other team. So if Louis McDonald gets physical with Beowulf, they have the advantage, and so on and so forth. But we're going to go right back down to the ring to hear from one of these parties. Ladies and gentlemen, Beowulf.
All right, let's just get this out in the open, Louis. I know how this is going to go. You and you're strutting around and saying how great you are. I think a lot of people remember a time when you might have been great. What was that again? You were one of those guys? I think your finisher was called That Move. Yeah, that was when you were great, Louis. When you were partnered with a certain cyberpunk prodigy. And it's just all sort of been meandering and mishmash after you decided to go into business for yourself. So, let's not kid ourselves, Louie. We know how this is gonna end. You are a human sack of trash, and I am the legend returned. So I think we both know this is going to end one way, with me walking out with that briefcase. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
Pending that stipulation choice.
I mean, that's right. I mean, if first person to lay hands and the other side gets to pick the stipulation.
I'm cool, man. I'm cool. You know, you can come out here and try to play the game and piss me off as much as you like, but it's not gonna work. I've seen too much, done too much. I've had everyone at my throat since day one, and you think you can upset me by bringing up the past?
Oh, that's right, because you are so evolved. You know, I've been around a long time. I've actually seen evolution in action. And I've also seen it kind of backslide a couple times. Hey, wasn't there a chimpanzee on this show before? I'm sure you and he had a lot to talk about.
Certainly more than any words that you're spewing out right now. You should just give up the ghost. And hey, yeah, maybe that legend status belongs to someone else at this point. Seeing as, you know, you like to sit around and talk rather than, I don't know, put your fists where your mouth is, huh?
Talking? I don't do that a lot. You know, this is maybe my 4th, 5th promo period since I joined the company. I let my actions speak for me. And my actions mean something. Whereas you sold everyone out to the Inquisition and didn't get anything for it, really, did you?
Well, actions like putting on a mask, calling yourself a legend, and barely crawling your way into the public eye. Oh yeah, because that's so legendary, right? Barely squeaking by, barely putting in enough effort. I have everyone after me 24/7, and you think you're a legend because you've had 1 or 2 hard matches.
No, I'm a legend because I've actually affected history. There have literally been ballads written about me. There are entire college courses based around my stories. So, I'm good. Whereas you, people are after you. I mean, only if you got something interesting like that briefcase. But everyone knows you're yesterday's.
All your stories and legends told across libraries to 3-year-olds everywhere to put them to sleep. You're gonna question my career, the notches I have on my belt. Well, kid, maybe you should count them again, because I guarantee you have less than half as much.
Your career, dude. Even with as crazy as he's become, Aiden Zero is still better than you, and his team is gonna be legendary long before Legion is. So, yeah, those notches, really impressive now. Got anything else?
Oh, I think that one was it. Wait a minute, Louis.
No, I think that was the last straw.
Louis.
Camel's back broken.
Well, and Louis broke the piece. Iron Cage, sure, cold iron. What can, you're right. No Faye fuckery. Good job. Well played, Beowulf. Well played, Wild Hunt.
This was a direct hard counter to King West.
This just shows the Wild Hunt know what the hell they're doing. Now beating the drums of war, shades of Johan Jung.
They really should have assumed that the Wild Hunt has a couple of grimoires and books about some things, shouldn't they?
I mean, McMorgan's clan has a history of Faye hunting. And that doesn't even get into...
So, ladies and gentlemen, the match for the Mystery in the Bank, Louis McDonald and Beowulf, inside of a solid steel cage. Sorry, solid iron cage to prevent fuckery from the tag team partner of Louis McDonald, Earl King West. Oh boy. That's all I gotta say. The Wild Hunt are showing their expertise about going after, well, the fair folk, so to speak. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to... Oh, I'm sorry, Faye, you were saying?
No, it's alright. I was just fixing some wires really quickly before we got into the next segment.
Yeah, until then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see the result of... I mean, that's going to be a brutal match, freaking to say the least. But we're going to see the results of that come this Saturday. And until then, we got another exhibition match scheduled for one fall. Now, this one is a very interesting one. Faye, from what I heard, it was a battle about hair care.
Oh yeah, basically the way it was put, like a rivalry that was kind of just sitting under the radar. Just who has the better, beauty products and hair care as far as all that is concerned.
Well, let's get back on down to the ring and see what we can get into here. We got the enrapturing Rapture New Road of Enraptured Beauty Products going up against Absolute Washington from Absolute Hair Care. Now, I will admit, this is me being 100% honest. The missus and I do shop with Absolute, are absolutely on board with Absolute Hair Care, mostly because it tames my freaking thick freaking hair here. Seriously, their beard oil is tremendous. But I can't really say anything about Enrapturing Beauty's skincare products. Their cocoa butter is tremendous. That is what I will say about that. Coming out the gate, though, Absolute Washington, with looking like he's got something to... Both of these individuals are coming out like as if they got, like... as if their lives are on the line. Ooh, that nice little fake out, though, from Absolute Washington. Looks like Raptor was trying to go in for a head scissors, but just a slight slide to the left. And a couple stomps this time. But yeah, out of these two individuals, Faye, who do you have for this match?
Oh boy. I mean, as always, it's been very difficult not to root for the Absolute Union. It's not Absolute Washington, especially. Half the name comes from him. Like this matchup against Rapture New Road really presents an interesting challenge. Not even from the aspect of vanity. It's just Rapture New Road has seen a lot and he's done a lot. He said so himself.
God, Absolute Washington was trying to go for the horns. Up, he goes for it again and just drags Rapture down in that flying forearm to the freaking jaw of the tiefling. Ooh, looks like Rapture's trying to go in for a drop kick, but gets denied, wrenching back at the arm, though. Jumping from the top rope into that moonsault. Oh, God, not just working on the lower back. Although, I will say, Rapture hasn't really been, I believe it's his wife, Trinket, that's been kind of helming the day-to-day operations of it in Rapture Beauty. Because I haven't really seen him talk about it terribly too much. I think he's trying to focus more on his wrestling career, because running a business and wrestling is really, really hard. Ooh, freaking educated feet onto the back of Absolute Washington's head there. Setting him up for a, oh, God. Okay, he just dabbed on him. Okay, Absolute Washington. I don't think he's going to take that disrespect lightly. Jeez, Rapture's... I keep forgetting how zippy he is. And just the tilt-a-whirl head scissors, bringing down Absolute Washington. And a Spanish fly to top it all off. Nope, he's going back to the top rope. Ooh, looks like he was trying to go in for a springboard. I think he was trying to go in for another bit of head scissors there, but gets denied. Nice little clothesline. Kick and driving him down to the ground there. Going for that cover. 1, 2. Ooh, 2.5 on that one. Although I'm actually very ooh! Jeez, that spinning axe kick to the lower back of Rapture. Kicking out at 2. God, you'd figured that this match was for a title, was for a championship or something. Ooh, frog splash onto Rapture. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of this really hard-hitting contest. Oh my God. The winner of this contest, Absolute Washington. And here we see Rapture showing a sign of respect. Sorry, Absolute Washington showing a sign of respect, and Rapture being the good sport that he is. Oh my God, that was a fantastic match. Once that gets up on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, go back and watch that. That is... phenomenal is the least of what I can say about that about that match. Oh, but ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we have a tag team contest, and well, so we heard from Enigma of GIF Inc., and now we're going to see a tag team match with a couple of his tag team partners. Osmond Keelik and Seth Jackson. The Jackson Investigation Force Incorporated, or GIF Inc., going up against Theron Eldrazi and his tag team partner, CJR Killer, The Outlaws. Got Osmond and Seth Jackson, a formidable tag team in their own right, but going up against former tag team champions. So Faye, what are the odds that GIF Inc. could come out? Just looking at this on paper, what are the odds that GIF Inc. could come out of this on top?
Not insubstantial, and I say that solely because, while yes, GIF Inc. hasn't been partnered together long, they have started to learn to work with each other, and yes, well, it's a very tough challenge in regards to the Outlaws. CGR Killer and Theron Eldrazi, they are back to back. They know each other like the back of their hands, and it's really hard to beat out that teamwork. They're gonna have to somehow keep both of them separate from each other, so they can't do any tricky shit or step in for the other when it looks like they're close to a pin or submission.
For sure. You got probably one of the best tag teams that Warzone has to offer in the Outlaws. Multiple time tag team champions. They had a freaking almost they had a 3-year-long streak of showing up to Multivania as the tag team champions. Whether they lost it that night or what, they had pretty much the division on lock up until this past year. And here we see CJR Killer tagging in Theron. Osmond trying to overpower the gunslinger. I don't know. I keep forgetting his nickname. Ignacio, I would not use that because of copyright reasons, and well, the Jackson family are already dealing with a lot. Oh, Osmond showing off that power game. Nice little takedown. Tagging in Seth Jackson. Now, I'm not gonna lie, like, what would be the match between, say, Seth Jackson and Osmond Keelik up against, like, the Outlaws or something like that for the tag titles? Like, how would you think that would play out?
That's a lot of big men in the ring, though, Joe. Like, I don't know if the
And
ring
hair.
can handle it. Yeah. No, I think the ring might explode first.
The amount of gel in that match. And that's just for Raphael's hair. Like, let alone trying to hold down freaking Osmond's mustache. Tagging in the big man CJR. Going in for a dead or alive power bomb. 1, 2, and a kick out of 2 thanks to Seth Jackson, who's getting he's getting a little lift up for his troubles and a power slam. Getting wheeled out of the ring there. Osmond just quickly coming right back up after having that time. Oh, God. That freaking spine buster there. Freaking CJR showing that power game. Oh, God. Now he's just... shifting his weight onto Osmond there. And Theron just dropping the leg, just using it... Trying to use the advantage his partner gave him. Oh, God, that freaking... Seriously, where are these moonsaults coming from? Like, everyone's, like... I don't know what's going on. It's like everyone's, like, trying to, like, outdo each other when it comes to, like, trying to jump from the actual freaking rope. Not just working and freaking tweaking that freaking knee and ankle of Theron. You take that out, you pretty much take out his one in the chamber as well as his, you could say, more leg-based offense. And now, setting up Theron into the camel clutch. Seth Jackson trying to Seth Jackson was trying to cut CJR at the pass. He was successful, and Osmond gets the tap out. Ladies and gentlemen, your winners, Seth Jackson and Osmond Keelik. GIF Incorporated. Big win for these two. And fantastic performance from the Outlaws' end, too. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we have a bit of a... We have a match scheduled for one fall, a singles match scheduled for one fall, and featuring the younger brother of Flyboy Bell. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a singles match starring Strongman Bell, the youngest of the Bell brothers, the trilingual terror himself, going up against the Lady of Conquest, Lady Boots. The main event mistress is strutting down to the ring. This is a very interesting matchup there, Faye. I mean, you got the power advantage of Strongman Bell, but the striking game and just the overall cunning of Lady Boots.
You know, unless like a match like this had actually happened, I would not believe it if you told me Strongman Bell would have to hit a woman. I do not see him as someone who would intentionally try to go for a match like that unless he had no choice.
I mean, if you're not familiar with Japanese wrestling, there's a lot of intergender stuff. So this is probably like, he's probably used to stuff like this coming up in Tokyo. I want to say Tokyo. I want to say it's either Tokyo or Kyoto. I know for a fact he's from Japan. Like, And that's kind of where he got his start, but still. God, showing that power game to the main event mistress. Not going for the Oni combo, just like going in for that gorilla press and now just retching at the arm. Guys, if you're gonna go for anything on Lady Boots' limbs, you want to go for the legs. You take out her legs, you take out her Clint Eastwood knee strike. Freaking so many people suffered from that thing. Oh God, hammer and anvil. Oh God, she kicks right back up. Strongman Bell going after the freaking neck, and she just kicks right back up to send him into the corner there. You also got to think about like what the state of the Conquest Bloodline is right now with Mega Blitz taking on Semjax on Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they're going to have to pay attention because, as Maximilian emphasized, he wasted no time in letting Semjax and the rest of the Bloodline know that he planned to be at ringside to potentially interfere in anything tricky or anything they tried to do on the side.
And here we see Strongman Bell, Lady Boots on the outside. Picking her up, gorilla press. Oni combo, just planting her on the outside. And looked like he was trying to go in for trying to set Lady Boots up for a trip onto the pain train, but that's a ticket that Lady Boots usually punches for other people. Just setting him up into a bulldog, making the youngest Bell bleed. Going for that cover. 2. Kick out at 2. Assessing the damage, assessing the damage, trying to strategize. Strawman just pushing her to the side and kicks out at 2. So far, this is a bit like I'd go back and watch this, ladies and gentlemen, because this is like this was like one of the hardest hitting matches I've seen all night.
Oh, absolutely. Lady Boots, our previous Nexus Titan champion. In fact, so this presents a very strong challenge in front of one of the Bell brothers. The other half, of course, being our current contender, which we will see in action on the 22nd.
For sure, and we will be discussing that later on in the night. Oh God, lariat onto the main event mistress. Trying to work her lower. Oh God, shoulder tackle, and then another shoulder tackle. Sending him onto the outside, but Strongman Bell capitalizes. And a double hammer strike onto the main event mistress there, going in for a rolling thunder senton. God, that is 250 plus pounds planting on you. And a powerbomb for her efforts. 1, 2. What the hell? Oh God, it's Kane. Not Kane, it's Exarchun. Using the force to set Strongman Bell free. Lady Boots are taking advantage. She's not feeling blessed. She's got sunshine in a bag. Clint Eastwood. Wait, no, that wasn't the Clint Eastwood. That's something completely different. Apologies. 1, 2, 3. With the distraction of the master, ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Lady Boots. A win for the Conquest Bloodline and a message to the Bells. Ladies and gentlemen, coming this Saturday is the Nexus Titan Championship. Kane takes on Flyboy Bell. Oh man, this is a... I think Kane just... Not Kane. I think Exar is trying to make this a bit more personal. I don't know. Like, what are you thinking, Faye?
Well, we've seen already that Exarchun has really wanting been wanting Kane to embrace the dark side further and further. For a lot of what people know of the Force, it's you don't want to fall down that dark pit. But Exar Kun is like all the way at the bottom, and he presumably would want Kane to join him in just full mastery of that side of the Force. But Kane has shown that he doesn't want to go through the same lengths. So they've come to a recent divide. Either way, like this, if this doesn't anger Kane because, you know, Exar Kun is now interfering with all his matches, it could just be a sign of showing, maybe Flyboy Bell, you know, what fate should be awaiting him. Maybe he could be trying to piss off Flyboy Bell going into the match, and, you know, maybe rightfully should be. He could accuse Kane of, well, you sent Exar Kun after him, or it's like, your master, your friend, etc., you know, went after my brother, and that is not okay. Maybe he could be hoping Flyboy Bell just gives into some rage in the middle of the match, and an angry Flyboy Bell is certainly something I don't want to see.
No, you don't. At that point...
You don't mess with family with the Bells.
At that point, an angry Flyboy Bell, all bets are off. Buckle up, Buckaroos. You are in for a ride. And I mean, it also could just add to the this growing back and forth between Kane and Exar. So, say Flyboy Bell uses that to take the belt off of Kane. Kane would only have, Exar to blame at that point. Because of Exar's interference, that just fired up Flyboy Bell. Flyboy with the title would I think that would just drive a wedge between Kane and Exar at that point.
I mean, either way, I'm so looking forward to this match because the Nexus title is the second most important, I would argue, in the company. You are essentially the face of the Nexus and everything that you can become while in the Nexus. You're a people's champion, and Kane very much wants to prove that he has come into his own and he deserves the spot as a Nexus champion. He wants to be himself, and I mean, he's been set free, you could argue, but he really needs to own himself.
The master of 6,802 moves against who is possibly the best high flyer in the entire company. It's going to be a fantastic match, to say the least. But, ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple more bits of business to kind of discuss. We have the main event. Now, Todd Bagman, lovely individual. He's just looking for some friends. And he approached the International Combat Club. And, well, part of the International Combat Club is you're going to have to face one of the members. So we got Todd Bagman coming down to the ring, chair in hand, fresh out the dumpster, going up against the funniest man to ever walk out of the German Super Soldier program. That is Locken. So, who do you have? Todd or Locken?
I mean, social media has just all been up in arms saying Todd's got this in the bag.
No, they haven't. No, they haven't.
Well, they've been saying something else, but I can't say that on live.
I was going to say, there's no way that they would use such a deplorable play on word like that. Come on, man.
Oh no, there's a much worse one, but I'm not repeating it.
All right, we can just push that one under the rug then. But God, and as a lot of people were kind of predicting, Locken just kind of has got. He just has Todd's number at this point because he's just like stretching out on Todd. Okay, here we go. A quick little reversal there. I didn't know Todd had an amateur freaking wrestling background. Interesting. Just, oh God. Freaking elbow strikes. You can see the sweat flying off of Locken's neck there. And now just stretching him out into that camel clutch, but locking. He's a little too strong to be kind of locked. Locked in there? I hate myself for saying that. You are a horrible influence with these puns, I swear. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Todd Bagman joining the International Combat Club would be very interesting to say the least. I mean, he definitely offers like a unpredictability to this, like, to the stable, which could be pretty good, especially when it comes to like recruitment. And just we got Todd Bagman just working on the neck and the back of Locken, shitting him up to that camel clutch again. Locken got busted open earlier on in the match, but once again, Locken's just overpowering Bagman to get out of there. Putting him up. Oh, Bagman quickly gets out of there. Nice little chop block to the knee. When you're going up against a bigger opponent, much like Locken, you definitely want to work the legs. Looks like Bagman was trying to set up for something, but Locken blocks out of it. Nice little tornado there. Going for that cover. 2. Kicking out at 2. Anyway, ladies and anyway, so
into the International Combat Club. Or could he just... Oh, no.
Apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, here we see Locken over... That power game that Locken has over Todd Bagman. Oh, God, power bomb. God, just working on the knees. Yeah, the power advantage that freaking Locken has over Bagman here can be a little too overwhelming. And that little shot to the jaw? I don't know. Suplex into a ripcord lariat. Jeez. I think he just about took the head off of Bagman there. 1, 2, and 3. Hopefully, Todd Bagman's performance kind of warrants another look-see to join the International Combat Club. I thought he did a pretty good job, if I say so myself.
No, absolutely. And we're going to see Nice Ice's thoughts, I'm sure. But this is the go-home show, so we're going to have to wait until the week after.
Yeah, for sure. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, the main event of the pay-per-view itself, Semjax the Conqueror going up against the Henshin Hero Mega Blitz X for the Multiverse Heavyweight Championship. God, Semjax is confident going into this matchup, and for good oh my God, I'm blanking on words right now. I do apologize. It's for
good reason.
For good reason, thank you. Oh God, sorry, it's getting late, but it's for good reason too. Most because he still has that. He had the advantage over Mega Blitz in their last contest when Semjax had the Money in the Bank, and now, I mean, here he has another prize to kind of dangle over Mega Blitz, and you know for a fact the Conquest Bloodline are going to be playing a huge part in this match. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, that is Warzone. But we have one more bit of business to go through. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Warzone moment of the week.
No emotion at all. Just pure execution. Then that dragon screw takeover. But there's a lariat from hell.
Lariat from hell. He was able to pull that through and pull the ripcord on Lady Boots. Lady Boots trying to get back to her feet.
Now he's just using all that power. Oh, Boots. Oh, no. She thought she got him out. He's going up top.
Perhaps she's too far. Double axe handle.
Well, I think this is it.
Straight to the forehead of Lady Boots and rolls into that senton.
Rolling Thunder. The Phoenix Rush hits again.
Here we go. Got right up into the power bomb. There it is. In the bomb pin position.
What the? Oh, XR Coon.
XR Coon.
The hell? Oh, no. That's Kane's mentor. Flyboy's facing Kane next week.
A little bit of help from a Sith Lord to a mistress.
One, two.
And your winner, Lady Boo.
Was this an enemy of my enemy situation, Jerry?
Yeah, I think this is a, screw with the...
ahead of his brother's title match against Kane. Strongman Bell gets hit by Kane's mentor. And that is your moment of the week, ladies and gentlemen. And let's do a quick little rundown of the card for the upcoming pay-per-view, Ragnarok, shall we? We have the tag team championship match of the Olads taking on High Voltage. The Constant Nightmare Constantinople versus Mr. Enigma for Constantinople's Big Oof Championship. As we mentioned earlier, the Nexus Titan Championship, Kane defends against Flyboy Bell. We have a Warpgate Hardcore Championship match. Well, not really a match. Conditional match with Aussie Turan and Suplex Sam going up against the Janitor and R. Sawyer. If Aussie and Sam win, Janitor and Sawyer cannot go after that Warpgate Hardcore Championship so long as Suplex Sam holds it. But if Janitor and R. Sawyer win, that means that Suplex Sam vacates the title. We have a couple of grudge matches as well. A couple. I see three. Sergeant Major Payne and Ignacio Cervantes. God, that's going to be fucking brutal. Not going to lie to y'all. We got Lou McDonald and Beowulf in a solid iron cage for the Mystery in the Bank case. And then we have the trios match of Blood Money, Nakano Kirishima, Mr. Butler, and their boss, Sir Uncle Dunk, taking on Alistair Evergreen, Whitney Lee, and Gunnar Birch of Omega Club. And in your main event, Semjax the Conqueror defends his multiversal heavyweight championship against the Henshin hero, Mega Blitz X. This is a stacked card. I'm not going to lie to you, Faye.
Oh, absolutely. But the stakes are always high in the Nexus, Mojo.
For sure. But hey, that's ladies and gentlemen, that is Warzone. And you can catch Ragnarok this Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/Dr_Caliban. And that is MNW Warzone. And that is also Firing Line for tonight. Faye, as we are winding down here, is there anything that you would like to tell the Firing Line audience?
Just remember to tune into the pay-per-view this Saturday on the 22nd at its regularly scheduled time. And remember that the Breakdown 9 pay-per-view occurs. It is currently set to air on the 30th. there will be updates, of course, on social media, so keep an eye out for that. But other than that, that concludes everything. So I pass it back over to you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for my co-host Faye Jinn, I am Joe Mojo, and we are signing out.
Hello, Multiverse! This is the one-man bar fight, Burnout Vaughn, and I'm here to tell you to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, because we want you here on the MNW YouTube channel. Okay, is that good? Did I get a take? Do I get paid now?